So Perek Vav, Sharat Teshuva. I might say for it's Kuf Mem Gimel, but I'm not sure if the others are the same number. Okay, so we spoke about the different requirements, the four main categories, and the five sub conditions of those four categories that result in 20 different items that aspects that we spoke about last time. So now we're ready for the type of hisorus that's required. So let's proceed with Perek Vav. Hisorus ha'adam lachzor b'tshuva, the inspiration, the motivation, that spark that comes to a person in order for him to be able to return to tshuva, novas b'toch echad mi'arbas hagormim dalalon, come from one of four scenarios. They're going to be one of four scenarios that will actually spark a person to do tshuva. And we probably could relate in one way or the other to all four in terms of just imagining, the different types of motivations that exist. So, Gorma Echad, the first cause, the Sha'adam Bali Dei Hakara Chazaka Kama Godol Umramimhu Hashem. When a person, this could happen at any moment in a person's life, when they just have this absolute clear recognition how great, how exalted God is, and appreciates the incredible kindnesses that HaKadosh Baruch Hu does for that person always. And that based on that recognition of how good God is, how many kindnesses that He's bestowed upon me, that obligates me to serve Him and to do what's right, to do what He asks, and to therefore stop and to move away from anything that HaKadosh Baruch Hu would prohibit. How do I just ignore that which is clearly a prohibition in the Torah, especially in light of all the kindnesses that I've received? So that would be as we'll see, logically, the highest motivation, pure recognition of how far I've strayed and how much I owe Hashem, and therefore I've got to straighten my path out. I've got to do better. I've got to do tshuva. I've got to change. A person who's motivated from this clarity and this recognition can be compared to a slave, a servant who has run away from his master. And as he's running away and he's hiding in his hiding place, he starts reflecting upon all of the good that the master has done for him. And from the result of that pondering and focusing on all of the kindnesses, he returns to the master willingly, with a very positive feeling, saying, "What did I do? What was I thinking when I ran away?" So he returned to the master to ask him for forgiveness. Al Shehimros Devaro, that he rebelled against his words, and ran away from his service. How could I have done that? I feel terrible. I want to apologize. And the servant that chooses, clearly from their own recognition, from their own understanding, what's best for me, to return to my master, to say I'm sorry and to ask him for forgiveness. When he understands what is the right path that will get me back to my salvation, to get me back to a place where I really need to be. We might run away because whatever we lost ourselves, and we think for some foolish reason that the grass is greener on the other side. But then when we reflect, we recognize, my gosh, what did I do? So such a person who truly, honestly recognizes the mistake, Roihu Shadonav Yisach Lo, it is fitting for that person's master to forgive him, the Korvaso Shuvelavin, to return him once again close to him. So we had a great relationship. We were very close. You, my trusted servant, I treated you well. You ran away, but you recognized that you made a mistake. You came back out of your own volition, and why wouldn't the master take that servant back? That would be the logical response. About tshuva of this nature, who comes back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu from his own her own desire to come back. It's just totally self-motivated, no external stimuli. Nemar shuv elai v'shuv aleichem. The pasuk says about such a person, return to me and I will return to you, meaning that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will bring himself, so to speak, closer to him, and he will move in his direction as well. V'yod nemar lov im tashuv Yisrael nom Hashem elai tashuv. If you return if you Klal Yisrael return, says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, elai tashuv, return to me. Im taser shikutzechem yipanai v'lo sanud. If you turn your abominations away and do not move away from me. I, by the life of God swears in truth and in justice and in righteousness. The nations will be blessed with you and they will be praised. You will be the source of their praise. So basically, if Klal Yisrael, you do the right tshuva and you come back to me with this level of clarity and motivation, it's all going to be good. I will accept your tshuva and you will be restored to the high place that you belong in the world. Kloimar, meaning to say now, Yirmiyahu, he quotes a pasuk in Yirmiyahu, and now he's going to explain it phrase by phrase. Kloimar, meaning to say as follows. Im Tashuv Yisrael mirton chaytoi. If you return to me, Klal Yisrael, from your good desire, meaning lefnei shetekabel's onish, before you receive punishment. Because the minute you're waiting, and then something happens. You get a clap, and you get some kind of a patch, and it's difficult, and you do some introspection. You recognize that something is wrong, and I deserve this. It's still tshuva, as we will learn, but it's not the same. It would have been so much more meaningful if it would have come from the person without the patch. So if you come from Ritzon Chatov, a light tashuv, as a kabel shvazchav, at that point I will then accept your tshuva, and I will choose you again to serve me. If you stay close, you remove all the abominations, all the repulsive activities, and you don't stray from my service. Again, meaning to say, you make in your heart an absolute resolve, to return to me in total truth. And if you do that, I will return you back to exalted position. Where the Goyim will literally sort of strive to be like you. And the truth of the matter is, we do see Goyim like that they look at Klal Yisrael. I don't know if we're in this place yet. The Mashiach isn't here, so I don't know if we've quite fulfilled this pasuk, but certainly you do see amongst Goyim who study Jews and look at Klal Yisrael, you do see so many that really respect us and they want to be like us. And through you, they will praise Klal Yisrael through your actions. And based on this explanation of this pasuk, HaKadosh Baruch Hu places three conditions down for, in a sense, the highest level of tshuva. Number one, you remove all of the despicable actions. And you don't return to it, you stay firm in your resolve. And I guess he swears. It sounds like that somehow if we are committed and we sort of swear in Hashem's name to follow truth and justice and righteousness, and that HaKadosh Baruch Hu promises you that if you do that, you commit to this lofty level, okay, the nations will bless you, and with them you'll be praised. So you will receive a lot of goodness. So this is level number one. There are going to be three more levels. But level number one, he spends a lot of time on this, that it's tshuva based on self-motivation, it's tshuva based on recognition and clarity, and this is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu responds to almost immediately and rewards that tshuva with tremendous results and tremendous bracha. Okay, let's try number 2. Hagorim Hasheni, what's the second cause for tshuva? What would be the second scenario that a person would find themselves in that might motivate them to do tshuva? That the person receives rebuke for the actions that are not proper, that are wicked and evil. It can either happen through the prophet of a generation, if he lived in the time that there was prophecy, and it could surely happen through a prophet. It can come just through the Torah. You learn the Torah and it sort of hits you right between the eyes. You can go to a Mussar Shmuz and you can hear a tzaddik who motivates the people to do tshuva, to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Through that person, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has this ongoing taina. He has a claim against those people. It's a winning claim. Against the people who do not serve him, who are not following the Torah, who don't care about what HaKadosh Baruch Hu says. They can't get out of it and try to explain themselves. Oh, well, I didn't know, I made a mistake. Come on, you knew, it's no mistake, you just don't care, you're just not ready to make that commitment. Right? So because every there is no generation that doesn't have this kind of individual, this kind of tzaddik who's able to rebuke and let people know that they are doing something wrong. So that kind of argument is not going to really hold true in many cases. Now, are there people who've truly never learned and are literally never been made aware of Torah? Obviously, there are some cases like that, but for the most part, certainly through most of Jewish history, there were always people in the generation that would teach the masses what was right and what was wrong. Kamosh Omra B'Senu Zalazar, rabbis taught us in Gemara Kedushin, Achrei Kovsa Shimshoi Shel Moshe, Zorcha Shimshoi Shel Yeshua Tamidai. Before the light of Moshe was extinguished, Yeshua's light came. The light of the son of Yeshua came, S-U-N, came up and shined forth before Moshe passed away. Achrei Kovsa Shimshoi Shel Eli HaKohen, the great tzaddik, Zorcha Shimshoi Shel Shmuel HaRamasi. Okay, so before he died and he left the world, Shmuel came on board. He came onto the world, and he was the one who was going to continue that light. Achrei Kovsa Shimshoi Shel Elio, Zorcha Shimshoi Shel Elisha. Before Elio left, you had Elisha. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu always makes sure that the door has somebody, very often more than one person, who's going to teach and enlighten the people. So you can't use ignorance as an excuse. So when you have this individual coming, where you have the Torah learning, that you start learning and realizing what you're doing wrong. You have a Navi, if you're living in the time of a Navi, that is another potential motivator to do tshuva when you get hit between the eyes by a strong Mussar Shmuz. Yom Shemeis, another example. Yom Shemeis, Rabbi Akiva, Nola Rabbeinu HaKadosh. The day that Rabbi Akiva passed away, Rabbeinu HaKadosh was born. So you see that there's always a passing of that torch to the next generation. And that's what you'll find in every generation, in all lands. Tzadikim HaKorel V'nei Adam, tzaddikim who call to the people Iskar V'Elokim, to come close to God, V'Lavadas Havodaso, and to do His service, V'Malamdei Misteraso, and to teach and to learn His Torah, and they teach His Torah, and that obviously everyone should learn that which they're teaching. But that's what every generation has, and that would be a second scenario of what would make somebody to do tshuva, a recognition that I need to change based on outer stimuli. It's not an inner stimuli. It's not a personal, internal recognition. I mean, obviously there's an internal response, but this comes from an external force. So about tshuva zeh, shisar la'achzal avodas Hashem mitoch tochacha, if you're coming back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu through rebuke, daimil le'eved shebarach me'avodas adonov, he's compared to the servant that ran away, same servant, same running away, But instead of pondering and meditating about all the goodness that he received, he ends up on the road as he's running away. He meets up with a very trusted servant of that master who rebukes him. Says, "What are you doing? You think you're going to find a better place? You think you're going to find a better master? He was so good to you. What are you doing? Why are you running away?" And he gives him advice. Go back to your master. And he says, don't worry, the master is going to forgive you. It'll be okay, but just return to him. And reminds him of all the kindnesses and the good acts and the good deeds that there were many that he did for this particular servant. And as a result of this interface, he goes back to the master, and he humbles himself in front of the master. That would be scenario number 2. Okay, so, and it's compared to that servant similarly, but instead of the first case where the servant recognized it on his own, here in case number 2, the servant is motivated by this little speech he got from his other servant. We have 2 more to go. Okay, that the case number 3 is that this servant sees, well, not the servant yet, that this individual sees, oh my gosh, look what happens to people who don't do the Ratzon Hashem. Look at the difficult situations that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has punished these people because they've strayed so far away from Him. Just like him. I strayed, they strayed, and look what happened to them. Look what's going to happen to me. It hasn't happened yet. You can still maybe, you still have a chance, but the motivation to return is seeing the serious, severe repercussions of what happened to people who don't do the Ratzon Hashem. Now again, in today's world, it's sometimes tougher because, you see different types of people suffer. But when you're clear and you look at the world honestly, you could get hisorus and you could get motivated by the fact that you see bad things happening to bad people. It doesn't mean it only happens to bad people, but that lamais is something to be used, and it is a motivating force, and therefore. And this punishment was there to teach that person and to test him. Will he return the tshuva? The first HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you a little clap or a big clap to hopefully motivate that individual to do tshuva, and you see this. You didn't receive it yet, but you see it in somebody else. Okay, so you take You take a lesson from it, and you are afraid. You return to HaKadosh Baruch Hu based on a strong fear of punishment, and God's vengeance being poured out against you. You don't want to see that happen. You don't want to be that guy who is the recipient of that kind of difficulty, and therefore you decide to change. This Baal Tshuva who returns to HaKadosh Baruch Hu as a result of what he sees happens to other people who are doing Averis, he can be compared to the servant who runs away from his master. He opens up, he buys a newspaper, and he sees, oh my gosh, a different slave escaped, and look what happened to him. He's now in jail, and he's having all different types of terrible tsaris, and who knows what the kind of torture they're doing to him. And he's, oh my gosh, I could be in the same boat. Look what happened to him. He ran away. They caught him. They put him in jail. He's going through terrible suffering. He's in the gulag, and I don't want to go there. I don't want to be that guy. So he says, and because he looked at that situation and internalized it, because again, you still get credit, because bottom line is a lot of people would look at this and just say it's not going to happen to me. But this one, he looked at it and said, I better take this message and internalize the lesson